don't think it's a very hot take that Team Liquid had a very, very good offseason. There's been people all over, myself included, saying that Team Liquid probably has the single most talented, at least on paper, North American team in the history of the LCS, in the history of competitive League of Legends, in the history of North American teams. And I don't really know that it's all that close. I mean, I'm thinking back to, some of the Team Liquid teams previously, and there were some really, really good teams. Some people think the more recent Cloud9 teams have been really good. Some people are going to say 2016 TSM, but this team, again, on paper, the names, the star power, just the raw talent is probably the most talented team in LCS history. But that doesn't mean that everything is going to go perfect. That doesn't mean that there isn't risk. That doesn't mean that there isn't potential bad news. That doesn't mean that it's just going to be easy. And there have already been, some doubts and things creeping up in a lot of people's minds. But in this video today, we're going to be talking about some good news for Team Liquid in regards to one of those potential, not so exciting scenarios. So that should be a good video to talk about. Definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much. And subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Help us hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. But with that being said, let's get right into this. So when I'm thinking about Team Liquid, obviously they have very, very high expectations, but it's interesting because there's a lot of teams with high expectations. 100 Thieves is a defending LCS champions. Cloud9 is already saying if they don't win both titles and make it to the semifinals at Worlds, that's going to be a disappointment. And then you have Team Liquid sitting here. You have the North American super team. You have the best LCS player of all time, in my opinion, maybe Doublelift, maybe Bjergsen, whatever, coming to Team Liquid, getting paired up with maybe the best player in LCS history also, corejj. He's in the conversation. He hasn't been around as long, so he hasn't built up, the resume of those guys, but as far as talent, corejj could definitely be the most talented player in LCS history. And then just a bunch of winners around them, Bwipo, Hansama coming off a very, very good World year, and Santorin. But there are question marks. I've seen people, just questioning whether Team Liquid made the right decision, because there's still a lot of people who think Jensen, coming off a very, very good Worlds performance, deserved another shot with Team Liquid. People saying, hey, this is our best international, maybe the best international player in LCS history. A lot of best in LCS history in this video, but Jensen has done so many things. He's made it to World Semis. He's made it to MSI Finals. He's done good at Worlds. He has the best international performances almost of any player in the LCS. And then there's people who think that Jensen's just better than Bjergsen. I don't think a ton of people, but there are those people. There are people that are worried about Bjergsen's year off and worried about his motivation and worried about, is he going to come back and be his old self, even if he is fully motivated, fully ready to go, all that stuff. So just in just the mid lane, it's like, did TL make the right decision? Is 2022 Bjergsen going to be better than 2022 Jensen? Did they do Jensen dirty? All of these questions. Santorin had his fair share of health issues last year that made him miss time in both the spring split and the summer split. Yes, he was there for Worlds. Yes, overall, he had a very, very good year when he was playing, but does he have that under control? Is it even something that he can control? Is that just going to keep popping up? Who knows what's going to be happening with Santorin? Again, a fair number of questions there. Bwipo in the top lane. He is a giant question mark. He was a jungler last split. In spring split of 2021, he was a top laner, but not a super good one. Not a dominant top laner by any means. I think he might have had the most deaths in the entire LEC. If not, he was like top 3 at least. He was sprinting it down, and a lot of the Fnatic team was as well. He has his own drama issues, girlfriend stuff. I don't know how that's going to work out, coming from Europe over to North America. But again, at their best, all those players are amazing. And then, you got corejj and Hansama in the bot lane. I think the only real question mark there was, is Hansama going to be able to come over to North America and replicate some of the success he had previously? But the big question mark I want to talk about is corejj. This team has 3 imports: corejj, Hansama, and Bwipo. So this whole team, this whole roster is centered around corejj getting his green card and becoming a North American resident. We know this guy wants to be a North American resident. He's done more for the LCS than almost any other player in the league. He's always doing in-houses. He helped set up this super server. He's always telling people like, hey, here's how you get better. Here's how we can do this. Hey, let's scrim. Hey, let's practice. I want to help you guys get good. He stays in North America. He says he loves the United States, all of this stuff. I think he brought his wife over. They're both trying to stay here permanently, it sounds like, and that's awesome. I love corejj for that. I hope he continues to do those things, and I know he will, so that's absolutely great. But he's supposed to get his green card, but as far as we had heard, he had not gotten it yet, and that's an issue because, again, this team, they only have 2 import slots, and they have 3 imports right now. And what we had heard was that if corejj is not able to get his green card, that he's not going to play. They are going to let Bwipo and Hansama play. And some people are like upset about that, but I also get it, because you're not going to bring Bwipo or Hansama over and be like, oh yeah, you can come sit on our bench over here. Like, no, you're going to let them play if you're bringing them over. corejj is going to get his stuff figured out. But green cards can be very fickle. You know, you're dealing with multiple international governments, especially during the pandemic, where things are even slower than usual, and you just have no idea if it's going to happen. So were these green card issues going to affect corejj in the lock-in? If they affected him at all, was it just going to affect the lock-in tournament? Was he going to have to miss some of spring split? How long is it going to last, if he was going to get it at all? But today it seems like we may have gotten a big update surrounding that situation. Somebody sent me this article from Invin Global, updated December 10th. Team Liquid complete rosters and staff for the 2022 LCS and LCS Academy seasons. They talk a little bit about here how Jenkins and Dokla have moved on to CLG, so they're kind of rounding out their roster there, moving on with some other players. They got their new Academy top laner, who is Bradley. He's like a mid laner in Academy who just role swapped to top. So now it looks like the rosters are done. And they throw in a little blurb here. This, I feel like, should be an article of its own. That's why I'm making it a video of its own here. But I haven't really seen anyone talk about this. I haven't seen any tweets. I haven't seen any Reddit posts. I haven't checked the Team Liquid subreddit recently, I'll be honest, but I hope it's on there. But I haven't seen this anywhere. Invin Global has in this article, since corejj has acquired his green card and confirmed his competitive status as a North American resident for the 2022 LCS season, Ayla will retain his role as a starting support for Team Liquid Academy in 2022. Now, maybe I missed an interview. Maybe everybody already knew this. Maybe I missed some big announcement or something like that, but that's possible, because I know Team Liquid posted like some really, really long videos, like I don't know what they're calling them, their round tables or whatever, where it's like hour-long stuff. I don't have time to sit there and watch an hour and a half stuff on every single team. I can't go super in-depth, but I didn't see anyone posting about this. I didn't see anyone talking about this. I even saw Tim Sevenheisen a couple days ago, asking what was going on with corejj and if he was going to have to sit out or whatever. So this is very, very big news. Again, Team Liquid is a team with a ton of talent, super high expectations, and I think they're going to be great. I think they're going to be so fun to watch. I really love all of these players. I think they can do great. I don't know what exactly that means. I don't know if that means 2 LCS titles and semifinals at Worlds. Does it mean finals at Worlds? Does it just mean getting out of groups at Worlds at this point and being competitive in the quarterfinals? I don't know. But this team is fun to watch. It's going to be great for the LCS in terms of content, viewership, storylines, all of this stuff. And even though this offseason sucked in some kind of ways, not seeing Jensen in the LCS, Doublelift not being able to come back, Niski, not ending up with the team, anything like that, I think at least having this super team is amazing. And again, there are hurdles to overcome for every single team. No matter how great you are on paper, you have to do it on the Rift. You have to translate to victories and competitive gameplay and consistent gameplay and high-level gameplay under pressure and stress that other teams aren't going to be dealing with. No other team is going to have the expectations that Team Liquid has coming into the year. And they, just like every other team, they need time to practice, build synergy, work together. Even though Hansama and corejj are individually great, they need to figure out how to play together on the same page. You need to figure out how to play one cohesive style or whatever. And having corejj there with your team the whole year, instead of trying to juggle back and forth between Ayla and being like, oh, that's, we came here to play. Hansama probably came over to play with corejj. If he doesn't get to play with them, that'd be kind of annoying. But again, I don't really know where this is coming from. I don't really see a source or anything going on. I don't know, but this is an article from Invin Global. They usually do a pretty good job. They usually have pretty good info. So I don't know. It seems like corejj potentially has gotten his green card. And if he has, that is great news for Team Liquid, that they'll be rocking their full starting 5 lineup into the lock-in tournament or into LCS or whatever they decide to do. So yeah, I thought that was pretty big news. I don't know. I wanted to get that info out to you guys at least if it is true. But that is pretty much it for this video today. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think this season's going to be like for Team Liquid. What are your expectations? How good or bad do you think they're going to do? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, save today, and all the latest content. Hope you catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.